What's up, everybody? This is Dr. Zeb, and welcome to the Rehab Christian Center Sunday morning experience. I'm so excited to be here with you today. Man, we've got another incredible word for you, and I'm ready to share it with you. And it is certainly my hope and prayer that everything is going well with you and your family and everything concerning you. Please forgive me for looking somewhat like a bum this morning. I feel like it looks outside. It's wet and cold and rainy and dreary. In terms of how I dress, let me take that back. I'm dressed according to how it looks outside, wet, rain, cold, dreary. I feel amazing. One of the beautiful things about being solely in this format right now is sometimes I can get up and dress up. Sometimes I don't have to. And so this morning was just certainly one of those mornings, but I'm excited to be here today and just so grateful that all of you have tuned in and that you're here wherever you are. Maybe you're reined in. Today, it's in the 30s here in North Carolina, and it's just an ugly morning. But it's proof, how the atmosphere, your environment can absolutely impact your mood, right? I don't want to go off on a tangent, but it's so true that environment can absolutely impact mood. And the weather is certainly proof of that. Nevertheless, glad to be here. So glad to see so many of you saying good morning. I'm going to try to jump in the comments really quickly before I can, have to get focused, on what I'm doing here. But just so grateful that you all have tuned in. I want you to do me a favor if you have not already. Make sure you say good morning in the chat area. Make sure you start liking this video, sharing this video, tagging people. Tell everybody that you're on and tell everybody to get up. We've got an amazing message this morning. I've really been led in the direction. That's right, Dr. V. I've really been led in the direction of religious conduct. And it's, where we're going to kind of, shift gears and where we're heading is really aligned with the scripture of the week. If you read James chapter 1 last week, that James chapter 1 or James, the book of James, if you've ever read that book, is an incredible book. He really just tells it like it is, but he really deals with Christian conduct, and not in the context per se of life outside of church, but he really deals with how we deal with each other. And so we're going to be spending some time here over the next couple of weeks, because I'll be frank with you, I did not know. Well, I'll get to that. I'll get to that in the message. I don't want to, I feel like, as you can tell, I'm excited. I'm ready to get into this. And let me just wait before I really share what I want to say and say what I want to say, because it really connects to today's message. So again, like the video, share the video wherever you are, and let us know. Let us know and let everybody know that we're on the air, and tag as many people as you can and tell them to tune in. Sorry, y'all, I had a thought. I tell you, I'm sorry, I'm a nerd. I can't help it. But start liking the video, sharing the video, tagging the video, and tell people to tune in. Tell them to get up, tune in this morning. We got a powerful, incredible word for you. And I'm so excited, even on this cold, wet, rainy, dreary day, to be sharing this word with you. And I'm so grateful that you've chosen to tune in with us this morning. Let's get ready to get into the declaration. I ain't wasting no time today. I need you to start liking the video and sharing it now, because, again, we're shifting gears. We're going to be talking about some Christian conduct, how we should behave as believers. And I'm not talking about outside of church. I'm really talking about among each other and among people that maybe weren't raised the way we were, maybe don't think the way we think. This is going to be a very powerful message, and it's really going to connect to assignments, and it's going to make so much sense, as it always does. And you're going to be grateful you tuned in. So again, start liking the video, sharing the video, say good morning. It's rude to come to church virtually or in person and not speak. And so make sure you say good morning in the chat area. Let me get my bearings together. We're going to get ready to walk through the declaration. If this is your first time tuning in, you may not know this, but every single Sunday we walk through the declaration. People ask us, what does REHAB stand for? REHAB is an acronym for Restore, Evangelize, Hope, Alternatives, Breakthrough. It's the 5 pillars by which we operate our ministry. And so powerful. I was actually talking to our realtor this week about our acronym, and she was just so impressed about how the acronym that we chose and how it really aligns with the things that we do. And so many people again ask what it stands for. And so I like to walk through the acronym on Sundays because I literally need you right where you are. I'm going to pick on Sonae. It seems like I call her out every week. I know she gets tired of hearing her name. But I remember when me, her, and Nikki did the live not too long ago, even as I was doing the declaration, she was literally on the screen saying it. And that really meant a lot to me. I don't walk through this declaration every Sunday for no reason. Seriously, I want you wherever you are. I don't care if you're in the bed. I don't care if you're at brunch. I don't care if you're on the road. I don't care if you're on a plane. I don't care if you're in the Bahamas in the swimming pool. I literally want you to say the declaration as I say it, because there is something about speaking words over your life. You got to be careful of the words you speak. You got to be careful of the words you write. You got to be careful of the thoughts you think. And so we do this declaration every Sunday so we can set the tone for our week. So again, as you're liking the video and sharing the video, we're going to go through the declaration, and I encourage you to do that as we do that. All right, say it with me. Restore. We declare that everything that is broken, lost, hurt, or destroyed that belongs to us and has been designed by God is restored. My faith is restored. My joy is restored. My mind is restored. Even my lost time is restored. I am no longer broken. The fact that I'm alive means I have another chance. My faith has restored me. And right now, his love is making me whole. Evangelize. Say this with me. We declare that God helped us so we can help somebody else. He loved me when I was unlovable. He changed me when I was a mess. His love lifted me when I was down. I'm not perfect, but I am free. And anything that came for me can't keep me. Because I'm free, my circle is next. My family is saved. My friends are blessed. My plans are successful. My goals are ahead of schedule. And anything connected to me is blessed, just like me. Hope. Say it with me. We declare that everything that is missing is not lost. In Jesus, I have hope. And this hope makes me confident. It doesn't matter what happens to me or around me. I'm going to win. My relationships are winning. My goals are winning. My family is winning. My neighbor is winning. This city will win. And my row has the victory. My past is defeated. And my future is brighter today than it was yesterday. Alternatives. Say this with me. We declare that God made us different. I'm a royal child, the light of the world, and the hope of my city. I respect the past, but I don't look like what I've been through. I love the church, and my life is balanced. I love coming to church, but I like flights, boats, and vacations. My whole life is blessed. I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. I am a lender, not a borrower. And every place I go belongs to me. Breakthrough. Say this with me. We declare that God has a breakthrough with our name on it. I have some challenges, but I am not defeated. No weapon formed against me can prosper. And I know that all things are working for my good. Things are not breaking down. They are about to break through. There is a breakthrough in my career. There is a breakthrough in my home. There is a breakthrough in my health. There is a breakthrough in my finances. I am here on purpose, for a purpose, and everything that went wrong is getting ready to turn around. My friends, did you make that declaration with us today? I hope you did. If you did, I want you to type in the comments really quickly. A win is a win. Come on, hurry, do it in all capital letters. A win is a win. Dr. Zeb, why are you telling us to say this every single Sunday this year? Well, because you've got to learn how to celebrate progress. I don't care what it is you are believing God for in your life concerning your family, your career, your business, your finances. It doesn't matter what it is. You've got to learn how to accept and appreciate even small wins. I had so many small victories this week that by the time, listen to me, by the time I added all my small victories up, it was a huge victory. You've got to not underestimate the importance of small wins. It's so important. We sometimes take the little things for granted. We sometimes take the little movement that God is shifting in our lives for granted. We sometimes take the little movement concerning the things in our lives for granted. And I'm here to tell you, a win is a win. You've got to have that attitude this year. And that's the attitude I want you to walk in. Come on, type it quickly if you haven't already. As you're doing it, make sure you invite somebody this morning. Tag somebody quickly. Y'all say good morning quickly. I see the comments are popping up real fast so that we can really get focused this morning. But I want you to put it in the comments quickly. A win is a win is a win is a win. And that's the attitude I need you to have. Not just this morning, but every single morning, every single day this week as you go into your week. Listen, do me a favor. I want you to also type in the comments the scripture for the week. Let's stay, as I said in the beginning of the video, we're going to stay in the book of James. The scripture for the week is James chapter number 2. All right, I want you to type that in the comments quickly. Right before we start teaching, I want you to type this quickly. James chapter 2 is our scripture for the week. I need you to read that chapter this week in addition to all of your readings. Whether it's biblical or other readings, you should be reading something every day. It doesn't matter what it is. And it doesn't just have to be the Bible. You all know that I preach balance. It's so important that you're balanced. If all you can talk about is God, you've missed it. I want to say this loud. If all you can talk about is God, you've missed it. Now, I know that kind of stuff gets me in trouble, but that's just how I feel. You should be balanced in life. You should be able to talk about more than just God, right? So you should be reading and studying all kinds of different things and learning, right? So I want you to add James chapter 2 to your list of things to read and focus on this week. And I think you're going to see some amazing life lessons in James chapter 2. And then, of course, join us Thursdays for Explanation Thursday, where every Thursday I do a 5-minute explanation or so. Let me say that explanation of the scripture for the week. And this week it will be James chapter number 2. All right. Now let's get right into it. I want you to type in the comments today's subject. Don't miss the assignment. Put it in there quickly. This is going to be a very powerful message. Don't miss the assignment. And I'm coming from St. John chapter 9, verse 1 through 7. All right. St. John chapter 9, verse 1 through 7 in the New Living Translation. Don't miss the assignment. This is what I'm teaching today. All right. Don't miss the assignment. St. John chapter 9, verse 1 through 7 in the New Living Translation. All right. Type that subject in the comments. I want you to follow the notes. You know what we do here at Rehab? We record notes in the comments. I have people that are tuned in right now that are working, that are traveling, that are on the road, that are doing so many different things, but they always listen in. They have their headphones on, their earbuds in. And so they go back and watch the replay to follow the notes. And so your notes are so critical in helping somebody learn and understand this morning. All right. I want you to type it in the comments. Don't miss the assignment. And we're going to be again in St. John chapter 9, verse 1 through 7 in the New Living Translation. I'm going to read these verses, and then we're going to get into this, and let's deal with some things as it relates to conduct and assignment. And this is going to be powerful today. And as always, you're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler all week long. Look at this. St. John chapter 9, verse 1. As Jesus was walking along, he saw a man who had been blind from birth. Verse 2, Rabbi, his disciples asked him, why was this man born blind? Was it because of his own sins or his parents' sins? Verse 3, it was not because of his sins or his parents' sins, Jesus answered. This happened so the power of God could be seen in him. This is important because the disciples saw a blind man, and they assumed that because this man was in a bad condition, that he did something wrong, right? They assumed, I want to say this again loud. The disciples assumed that this man, because he was blind, he had done something wrong. And that's crazy because life's like that. People will assume that because you are dealing with certain things in your life, that it is a byproduct of your behavior. But there are some things that happen that have nothing to do with you and have everything to do with God showing his power through you. I need you to catch this quickly. There are some things that happen to you: business failures, career failures, issues with your children, issues with your spouse, divorce. There's so many different things that oftentimes happen to you that have nothing to do with fault and have everything to do with God demonstrating his power through you. When you embrace that concept, listen to me, when you embrace that concept, one, and two, you operate in honesty. Because here's the flip side of that. If you were crazy and you having problems with your spouse, it's because you're crazy. If you did not take your business seriously and your business is sputtering to get off the floor, it's because you're not taking your business serious, right? So the other part of that is honesty. We have to be then honest with ourselves, because anytime we go through things, we have to first of all step back and say, is any of this connected to anything that I've done? All right, we got to be honest about it. Y'all just bear with me. I'm setting a foundation that's going to all make sense. Is any of this connected to anything that I have done? Anything that wrong that I've done? Anything that I've been responsible for that I did not quite manage? That's the first thing we've got to ask. And if we are honest with ourselves and the answer to that is no, then we've got to shift our thinking towards, wait a minute, then. If I know I was a great person, maybe I didn't do everything right, maybe I wasn't perfect, but if I know I was a great person and really gave my best effort in this situation and it didn't work, or things fell apart, or things are doing whatever they're doing, then I got to go to option two. Perhaps God is allowing me to experience what I'm experiencing so that he can get some glory out of our lives. And this is so important. I like this. I don't know who _Carradine is, but that is one of my favorite words. She said on Instagram, I'm assuming it's a she, said on Instagram, accountability. And that's the problem with this generation. A lot of times we are quick to say, I don't know why I'm in the position I'm in. I don't understand why I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with. I don't understand why life is lifing on me, instead of being honest and accountable and saying, maybe I could have done some things different that would have shifted where I am. And when you can get beyond that, and then life is still happening, you have shifted from taking accountability and being honest about your situation to perhaps maybe God has you where you are because he's getting some glory out of your life. I want somebody to know today, and I don't know who I'm teaching to, but this is really strong on my spirit this morning. I want somebody this morning to really recognize and embrace this truth, that some of you right now are in the position you're in and it has nothing to do with you. Listen to me. Some of you are in the position you're in right now and it has nothing to do with you. Some of you are dealing with what you're dealing with right now and it has nothing to do with you. Some of you are going through a dark season in your life right now and you hate the season and it has nothing to do with you. I need you to know, because you are honest about where you are and what you've been through, I want you to know that the reason you're in the season you're in is because God is literally trying to show his power in your life. There are some things you go through because they are your fault. There are some things you go through because it's about God's power. And I need you to hear that today, right? Because some of you are beating yourself up every single day. What if I had done this? What if I had done this? Or maybe I could have done this to stop this. Or maybe I could have done, I've been there. But then when you are honest with yourself and you admit your flaws and you correct your flaws, and then you take a step back and look at the situation, then sometimes you are reminded immediately, wait a minute, I'm dealing with this because this is about a greater purpose that God's trying to get out of me. I'm dealing with this because this is about a greater power that God's trying to demonstrate through me. Here's an even better one. I'm dealing with this because when it's over, I'm going to have a new level of power that I've never had. And this is the thing that I love. This is the thing that I love about going through. This is the thing that I love about going through. I ran into somebody I hadn't seen in a long time this week. And when I saw them, they were just blown away. Said, man, you look good. Man. Oh, my God, you look good, man. You look good. Your body looks good. Your mind looks good. Your face, everything look good. I said, what did you expect to see? I don't know what you were looking for or expecting to see when you saw me. And I'm not saying that to brag or to be arrogant. I'm saying that from the perspective of when you have gone through things and you have embraced the fact that maybe I'm in a season that I'm in because God's trying to create some greater power in me. When you come out of that season, you come out with a different kind of energy. Some of you, your energy is glowing right now on levels it's never glowed before because you have embraced the season that you're in. And I like it. You won't come out looking, Soné, like what you've been through if you embrace the season that you're in. I don't know who I'm preaching to or teaching to this morning, but let me say this very clearly. I need some of you to stop running from this season that you're in. Put it in the comments. This is your first note. You'll be the smartest person at the water cooler all week long. Stop running from the season you're in. Man, this is good. Stop running from the season. Hurry, y'all, type. I got a lot to go, and I got to try to do this in 40 minutes. Stop running from the season you're in. Put it in the comments quickly. Come on, we record notes here. Stop running from the season you're in. Why is that important? Because so many of you are so much in a hurry to get to what God has for you that you ain't learning the lessons of the season that you're in right now. You're not learning the lessons from the season that you're living in right now. You're not thriving from the lessons and the season that you're in right now. Right. Listen, y'all know I'm big on journaling. It seems like every single time I do a broadcast, I reference my journal. I'm big in that. Y'all, I have written my journal recordings over the last 2.5 years are so rich that there's at least 12 books in those journals. The growth, when you go back and go to the beginning and just read the things that I personally experienced, I'm talking about me, over the last 2.5 years, one of the things that I've noticed, one of the, what's the word? It's not coming to me. One of the consistencies, one of the commonalities that I've noticed is this whole idea of being okay where I am. See, many of you want God to do a greater season for you, but you can't be okay in the season that you're in. You got to stop running from the season you're in. And guess what, y'all? Sometimes the present season looks like a lot of pain. Sometimes the present season looks like a lot of confusion. Sometimes the present season looks like a whole lot of drama. Sometimes the present season looks like a whole lot of loss. Sometimes the present season really feels like God forgot about you and he remembered everybody else. But I'm here to tell you, if you embrace the season you're in and just live in it and learn from it, by the time you come out of that season, the glow on your life, the glow in your energy, the glow, you're going to walk in the room and heads are going to turn, not because you're the finest thing that walked in or the most handsome thing that walked in. Heads are going to turn because people are going to be able to look at you and they're going to see the results of how you survived everything you survived. You've got to embrace the season you're in. Tanil said it great here. You got to be content. Paul said that regardless of the season I'm in, I've learned how to be content. And that word content doesn't mean you're okay. That word content doesn't mean you like where you are. That word content simply means this is the place God has me. I might not like it. It's not something I would have chosen for me, but it is where I am. And I'm going to embrace that so that when I come out of that, then I will have been able to apply the lessons of that rough season to my future. This thing is just so crazy. This week, so much alignment, so many things were happening behind the scenes. And, this thing really hit me and through meditation one morning where it just came to me. I was just sitting there just thinking about my thoughts. And it came to me, this season that I'm getting ready to enter in, that many of you are getting ready to enter in, but I'm specifically just talking about me, the season I'm about to enter in, this thing really made sense. A lot of the lessons from the last season, for many of you, are going to be a blessing in the next season. And this thing really hit me. A lot of the lessons I learned in the last season will turn around to be blessings for somebody in the next season. And sometimes you go through situations and seasons in your life that you don't understand why you got to deal with it. Why I got to deal with this? Why I got to go through this? Why I got to face this? Why this got to happen to me? Only to, if you are comfortable in that present moment, to come out of that season and recognize that you didn't just go through what you went through for you. You went through what you went through. So when you come out, you can help somebody else. See, some of you are going to write books about experiences that you're going through now, and you don't even understand right now why you're going through what you're going through, and the book is going to help somebody else, right? So we've got to be careful. Some of you are going to be positioned in business to be able to empower other businesses, but right now your business is struggling, and you don't understand why you got to go through a struggle season. But let's face it, how you going to help somebody come out of a struggle if you've never been through a struggle? How you going to help somebody come out of pain if you've never been through pain? Let me tell you what God spoke to me. And I'm trying to lead this, y'all, but as you can see, this thing is rich today. Let me tell you what God spoke to me. And he spoke this about, I don't know, it was maybe 7 or 8 months ago. And he said, Zeb, you did all of this talking. When you started rehab, you did all of this talking about trials, tough times, and tough seasons. So I figured I will give you a chance to experience what you teach about. Did y'all hear what I said? He said, I figured I will give you a chance to experience what you teach about. Huh? Wait. God, you ain't got to prove nothing to me. I mean, I believe you. I believe in everything that I teach. You don't have to prove nothing. No, he said, no. No, because you've done well teaching what you've heard, but when you've experienced it, it's a different level of learning. Some of you need to hear me today. Some of you had to experience what you're experiencing right now, not because you didn't know better, but because when you go through something yourself, that is a different level of experience. That is a different level of breakthrough. That is a different level of growth in God. And so do not undermine the present season that you're in, right? And don't think for 1 second that because you're in a tough season, it's because you did something. Because he says right here, St. John chapter 9, verse 3, Jesus says right here, listen, this man ain't blind because his parents messed up, nor because he messed up. He blind because I'm trying to put some more power in him. And some of you are blind because God's trying to put more power in you. Some of you are going through a lonely season, not because you can't get nobody, but because God's trying to put more power in you. Some of you are going through tough business seasons right now. Your business is sputtering and you want to throw away the whole vision because you thought you would be further now than what you are. No. You're not struggling in business because God's mad at you. You're struggling in business because God's putting another level of power in you. Some of you, your relationships, even your marriages are going through all kinds of things. And you thought that it was because God was punishing you. No. God has you in the season that you're in because he's trying to produce more power in you. And I need you to in this season, not think you necessarily did something wrong because God has you in a tough season. And we got to stop doing that. And we're getting ready to shift gears here and talk about this and how it relates to believers and assignments, because I'm here to tell you, believers are good for this. I remember a day, man, I met with the seniors of our church a couple of weeks ago, and they just really blessed me, just sweet ladies. And we were just laughing, talking about some things from the past, and, some things are going to be happening in the future. And, I remember walking in church and how people would look at certain people certain ways because they thought that maybe the position they were in or the condition they were in was based on something they did. And it is one of the most irresponsible things to ever do, to assume that somebody's going through a hard time because they did something. Not only is it irresponsible, it's lazy. It's irresponsible and it's lazy and it's rude. A lot of people are going through things and they ain't got nothing to do with them. A lot of people are going through things and it ain't about what they did. It's about God trying to literally produce some greater results in their lives. And so if you want to be great in anything, I need you to understand that there are some seasons of darkness you got to go through sometimes in order to experience next level greatness. I thought I wanted to be great in my ministry, so God said, let me take you through some dark seasons. I thought I wanted to be great in relationships, so God said, let me take you through some dark seasons. Y'all not listening to me. I thought I wanted to be great financially, so God said, let me take you through some deep, dark seasons. Because the reality is you can live an average life in all of those areas with everybody else. Or you can live an exceptional life if you're willing to go through a season of blindness so God can produce some greater power in your life. Let me keep moving. I feel like I'm getting sidetracked. St. John chapter 9, verse number 4. Now watch this. Watch how the story turns. Look at verse 4. Jesus says, we must quickly carry out the task assigned us by the one who sent us. the night is coming, and then no one can work. Verse 5. But while I am here in the world, I am the light of the world. Look at verse 6. Then Jesus spit on the ground, made mud with the spit, and spread the mud over the blind man's eyes. I'm going somewhere. Verse 7. He told him, go wash yourself in the pool of Siloam. Siloam means sent. So the man went and washed and came back seeing. So Jesus tells the disciples that while y'all are focusing on whether or not this man messed up or not, your greater assignment is to do the things right now that you've been assigned to do. Your greatest assignment right now is not to focus on the who's or the what's or the whys, and to focus on the what it is that God has assigned you to do. The disciples were so sidetracked about how this man could have messed up, maybe his parents messed up, that they lost sight of the fact that Jesus reminds them that right now, your greatest assignment is to pay attention to your assignment. I want you to record this right now. Your greatest life assignment is to pay attention to your assignment. This is going to make sense in a second. I love being a nerd. Record it. Your greatest life assignment is to pay attention to your assignment. I need you to record this. Your greatest life assignment is to pay attention to your assignment. Dr. Zeb, what are you getting at? I'm suggesting to you that when life gets hard, that's the time you got to get harder on your purpose. That's the time you got to focus harder on your assignment. That's the time you got to focus harder on your goals and your dreams. That's the time you got to focus harder on the lane that God has crafted for you. That ain't the time for you to ball up in a ball under a blanket on the couch and binge watch Lifetime all day. That ain't it. Now, I'm not suggesting that you can't go through a period of grieving. Maybe you've gone through a situation, a circumstance, and some grieving is necessary. And I am a believer in grieving. It's no need of holding that in. That can become more detrimental to you, your health, and your well-being. It's good to let it out. But there's a difference, y'all, between grieving and staying. I need you to record that now. There's a difference between grieving and staying. Come on, put it in the comments, y'all. I told you you're going to be the smartest person in the water cooler all week. There is a difference, put it in the comments, hurry, between grieving and staying. Somebody needs to hear this morning, that your grieving period is over. You've cried enough over it. You've done everything you could about it. Some of you have gone to therapy. Some of you have done the self-work. Some of you have taken accountability and responsibility for your role in certain situations. You've done everything you can. You prayed about it. You meditated about it. Now it's time for you to focus on your purpose. Now it's time for you to focus on your assignment and stop worrying about all the stuff that you're grieving over and start focusing on your assignment. Because if you stay there, you can potentially miss the thing, the direction, the purpose, the calling, the plans God has for your life. All right. And so you cannot grieve. You can't stay in grief. Grieve, but you can't stay there. All right. Now, let's deal with this. So he tells him that. And then he says, while I'm here in the world, I am the light of the world. And I want to deal with this quickly because, I was doing some thinking yesterday. And, I did not know. Y'all educate me. Maybe you can educate me in the comments. Let me pay attention to the comments here. Try to, at least for this segment here. I did not know. I was doing some thinking yesterday, and I did not know that treating people any kind of way, especially church people, believers, right? People who claim to love God. I did not know that being a believer, saying you believe in God, I did not know it was still a thing for believers to treat people any kind of way. I didn't know this. And I was laughing thinking about this because I was watching a funeral yesterday online on YouTube of a well-known gospel artist. I never met him, but I really enjoyed his music. And the funeral was in Atlanta, and I really enjoyed his music. Well-known, very well-known artist, and died at 44. Very tragic loss. And so it was a very long funeral. It was about 4.5 hours. I didn't watch it all. I caught parts of it. In fact, I forgot the funeral was yesterday, and I was actually out running some errands. And when I got in my car, it hit me. And so I flipped open my iPad, went to YouTube, and it was right there in my feed. And so I clicked on it and watched some of the funeral yesterday. And one of the things that really touched me about the service was his wife's remarks. His wife gave some remarks towards the end, right before his choir, this guy's choir song, and then Pastor William Murphy preached, and that was that. But she gave some remarks that I thought were very powerful and poignant. And in her remarks, she talked about how people, who claim to love her husband, who claim to be believers, were just acting just real shady and weird, right? Wanting reserved seats and getting there and being all bougie and uppity and popping off on people different kinds of ways. And I'm sitting there listening to her. Number one, she was telling the absolute truth. Like, she preached the whole word. She talked for about 12 minutes and she preached a word. But then I start thinking to myself, like, wait, is this a thing? Like, is it still a thing for believers to really think that they're better than somebody else? Is it still a thing in 2023 for believers, because you claim to know God, to think that you're better than somebody from the street who doesn't go to church? Is that still a thing in 2023? And maybe y'all can put me up on game, because I'll be honest with you, Nick. I thought that wasn't a thing no more. Like, I thought we had advanced beyond the fact, or beyond this idea, that I'm better than somebody else because I claim to know God. Let me tell all of you something. Let me bust your bubble right now down to the white meat real quick before I go forward. The only difference between you as a believer and a non-believer is the fact that you found the courage and the awareness to claim Jesus as your Savior. That's the only difference. I want to say this again slow. The only difference between you and a non-believer is that you found the courage and you found the awareness to accept Jesus as your Savior. Aside from that, you ain't no different than the drug dealer. Uh-oh, I'm gonna get in trouble. Aside from that, you ain't no different than the prostitute. Aside from that, you ain't no different than the pimp. Y'all, the problem with the disciples in this text is that for some reason, they try to associate this man's blindness with sin, as if the only people that go through things are bad people. And this is very problematic, apparently, still in the believer circle, where people show up in virtual church or show up in physical churches with their noses up because they got a little church dress on, because they got some little cotton stockings on, they got a little suit on, and they, for some reason, think they're better than everybody else. I got a breaking announcement for all of you. None of us have a right to handle people any kind of way. I need you to record that. I don't care if you don't record nothing else. I need you to record this. None of us have a right to handle. Let me make that more clear. None of us have a right to handle God's people any kind of way. Will y'all type that for me, please? Let me know you with me. None of you have a right to handle God's people any kind of way. Yeah, I said cotton stockings. Folks still wearing cotton stockings in 2023. I know your legs hot. They got to be. And yet you walking around acting like you're better than everybody else. none of us have a right to handle God's people any kind of way. Who are God's people, y'all? God's people ain't just folk that go to church. Here's some more breaking news for you, because some of you thought God's people was just the folk you go to church with. Some of you thought God's people were just the people that go to your virtual church or go to your physical church, that read their Bible, that claim to be saved. Some of you thought God's people were just those people. Let me tell you something. If you're breathing, you belong to God. I want to say it again. If you are breathing, you belong to God. So God's people is greater than a building. God's people is greater than a title. Some of you, these fake titles, y'all know how I feel about titles. It's a whole lot of folks. Pope this, bishop this, apostle this, all of this stuff this. Ain't nothing wrong with that if you've earned it. Just make sure you earned it. Doctor this. I can't stand for people to dock me to death, especially in the church circles, because a lot of these preachers dock this, doc, ain't got nothing. Don't call me nothing you ain't got. And if you got one, make sure the one you got is real. Last time I checked, Grand Canyon is not in Miami. So I ain't got no problems with titles, but most of the folk that's got them don't even have real titles, and they didn't even earn the ones they got. So we need to, all of that stuff, none of that stuff is relevant. If you're breathing, you belong to God. It's that simple. Being God's child is not about titles, and it's not about how much you shout and speak in tongue. It's not about none of that. And so that thing really arrested me. And I was really blessed yesterday by hearing her talk, because it was just great confirmation. Those of you that have been with me for a minute here at Rehab, whether it's virtual or in person when we were in the building, know that what you're hearing today ain't nothing brand new. I've been teaching this for years. I don't care what you do to yourself, but how you handle people matters to me. You cannot treat people any kind of way and say you love God. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. It doesn't mean you're going to do everything right, but doggone it, you know right from wrong. And it is not cool to claim to be a child of God, but just treat people any kind of way. And just handle people any kind of the way. You can't do it. You cannot do it and claim to love God. All right? So we got to be very careful here, because the disciples, in some regards, were guilty here. They assumed that this man had messed up, and so their treatment of him was of such. And that's the problem with assuming. A whole lot of y'all are assuming stuff on people based on appearance and what you see. But let me tell you something. There's a whole lot of well put together people that you would think got it all together, that's got the lowest self-esteem. I mean, they got great picture, attractive, smart, financially stable, all of this stuff, but got low self-esteem. You talk to them and break all of that stuff down, they don't really even believe in themselves. And then there's a lot of people who wear the same thing every day, who don't have no Louis Vuittons or Gucci shoes, who from the outside seem to just be average people, but really are some of the most solid people you'll ever meet. Y'all better stop, and believers, y'all know better. You better stop judging books by their cover. You better stop judging folks based on what you see and then treating them accordingly. As a church baby, I'll tell you, I've said this before. I'm going to get in trouble saying this now. I don't care. Y'all know my mouth. I could care less. I tell people all the time, this is why I don't get invited. Though my invitations to speak at churches have really been picking up here lately. And I'm about to get back into that season where I'll start going out and speaking more as, you know, rehab is starting to get positioned to be where it needs to be. But let me just tell you something. I don't get invited to a lot of convocations because, you know, my mouth is lethal. At the end of the day, none of us have a right to judge anybody. And all of us, frankly, are one Slim Jim away from being what we used to be. Don't you ever get so saved and so spiritual and so deep that you forget two things. One, where you came from, and two, what you're capable of. I want to say it again slow. Somebody needs to record that. Don't you ever get so spiritual that you forget where you came from and what you're capable of. This is why I don't judge nobody, because I know where I came from. But y'all, here's the big one. I know what I'm capable of. and when I think about my capabilities, it's a scary thing. Don't you ever forget where you came from and what you're capable of. Some of these conventions, church conventions, I love, and nothing wrong with church conventions, convocations. It's great. The believers come together and worship and have speakers and go in empowering sessions and really get to fellowship with them. There's nothing wrong with convocations. But look, just because you go to convocation don't mean you can't turn your nose up at somebody else who's not in church or who don't go, because convocations be just like Freaknik. I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. It'd be like Freaknik at some of these convocations. I mean, just because your dress long and them stockings are cotton don't mean they can't come off. You know, we need to pipe this down as believers and stop judging books by covers and recognize that all of us, if not for God's grace, would either still be in our past or would be living out our potential. And I'm serious about this message today. Y'all heard what I said. Don't egg me on, Michelle. Do not egg me on. Y'all heard what I said. I meant what I said. It's the truth. And this is why I don't judge folk at rehab. This is why I don't believe in that. I don't. I have literally made my congregation get up and just hug each other for like 15, 20 minutes. Because there be people in the room and folk be looking at certain folk based on how they dress and how they look. And then you could just see the judgment on folks' face. And so to shut that down, I just make you get up and just hug folk all day. And I've been called all kinds of crazy things for doing it. I don't care. One thing I'm not is judgmental. One thing I'm not is so saved that I forgot where I came from and forgot what I am capable of. Some of the biggest freaks I know, male and female, right in the church. Let's pipe that judgment down. Let's pipe that assuming we know about people's lives. Let's pipe that down. Because a buddy of mine and I were laughing about this earlier this week. Even if you got a title in the church, it don't mean you ain't got a past. Y'all don't believe this? I remember I missed my grandmother Tally when she was alive. She had a chair over in the corner, my dad's church. And when service was over, I would help my dad and put his stuff up. But then I would always stop right there and sit next to her in a metal chair. She was in this raised recliner that dad had for her. She would sit over in the corner so she could be at church and be comfortable. And, grandma would talk to me and the things she would share with me about people, about herself, about experiences, things she's gone through, things other people went through, was really so eye-opening, because what it was a reminder of is it don't even matter what your title is. Even with a title, it don't mean you ain't got a pass. And some of these church mothers and stuff is great. Like you sanctified and holy today, but baby, all of these babies didn't get here for no reason. They didn't get here by accident. It wasn't the Virgin Mary part too. Right. So we have to recognize that even with a title or position, it doesn't mean you don't have an experience or testimony or things you've gone through. And we have to embrace that. And more than that, be honest about that. Because can I help y'all? I'm not way off where I'm heading down. I'm going to get back to this assignment thing in just a second. But can I help y'all real quick? Let me tell you what this generation wants right now. This generation really could care less about this facade of perfection that people try to put on. They don't want that. I'm just telling you what I know. This generation does not want your facade of perfection. This generation wants to hear your authentic testimony. Because for this generation, if they can know what you went through and how you became what you are, regardless of what you went through, it gives them hope through what they're going through right now. I get the question all the time, Doc, why you teach the way you teach? Why you preach the way you preach? Why you say the stuff you say? Because people don't want to hear my holiness. They want to hear my story. They want to hear what I've experienced. Because many of you are going through what I have experienced or maybe even experiencing. And you want to be able to look at somebody who is spiritually strong, who is persevering, and say to yourself, if he did it, I can too. But what do we do in church? We get saved. We put on our cotton stockings. We put on, fellas, our purple suit on Easter, put on all of this stuff, all of this cakes of makeup on our face. We try to dress up ourselves so bad, thinking that dressing up our outer selves is going to hide our inner selves. And it doesn't work that way. People, and especially this younger generation, could care less about all your garbs. They want to know your testimony. They want to know how you messed up. You'd be amazed at how you could free somebody by telling them, you know what? I ain't always been the model, whatever. I haven't always done the right. Me and my kids have this conversation all the time because my kids get a little hard on themselves. Part of that's part of this is part my fault because I have very much high expectations on them. I don't apologize for that. But when I see them beating themselves up, then I have very hard conversations with them about things I struggle with, right? Grades is a perfect example. I talked to them. I don't know if my parents are tuned in, but I talked to them about how I think it was my second or third grade. When I was in second or third grade, I still have the report cards upstairs. My parents saved all the report cards. I had all kinds of N's and U's on my grades, right? In reading, I wasn't good at reading comprehension as a kid. I was a decent writer, but I didn't have great grades in third grade. And so when my kids have hard grades, yeah, I fuss because I know the potential. I make sure they study. But then when I see them getting too hard on themselves, I have to remind them, you know what? I was where you were. Yeah, I struggled with reading too in third, fourth grade. Now I'm finishing up book number 4. Right? So if daddy overcame it, you can do it. That's what this generation wants. All y'all doing, I'm about to get in trouble, is standing up in church telling folk not to have sex. Instead of saying to them, listen, I know what it's like to mess up because I did it. I did some stuff with some people I had no business and God brought me out. Here's the better way. Because see, baby, when you 80, it's easy to be celibate. When don't nobody want you, it's easy to be celibate. Let me stop. I'm about to get in trouble. Let's keep going. Y'all don't want this kind of teaching. Does this make sense? Fill it up with hearts if it does. Right? This generation wants to hear, how can I be in my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, fine, attractive, smart, got a lot going for me, and still keeping my cookies and my Jimmy to myself? How? Because if you can teach that, then you're going to get some folks listening to you. You're going to get some people who can then take your word and see your example and apply it to their lives. I'm going to do a live video. I don't think I'm going to do it on Facebook because I got a lot of judgmental people on my Facebook page. It's probably going to be on Instagram and TikTok because those audiences are a little bit more new for me. And let me tell you the thing about church people. When church people think they know who you are, then they don't support your stuff. That's a totally different conversation for a different day. But TikTok, Instagram, I do a lot of stuff on there, and probably YouTube. And I'm going to do a video real soon on celibacy. That's going to bless a lot of you, and it's going to surprise a lot of you. Because as a young man and somebody who has some abilities, when you make choices like that and you abide by those choices and live by those choices, it really inspires people to take a step back and look at their lives and reconsider the decisions they're making with their own bodies. And so I'll let y'all know when that conversation is coming. But listen, y'all, we got to stop giving people the testimony. We've got to stop giving people the testimony. We got to stop giving people the testimony that looks good and give them the testimony that's real. Because that's what this generation is looking for. They're looking for authenticity. That's exactly what they're looking for. Now, does Jesus, the disciples' response to a blind man from birth was rabbi. Y'all with me? Y'all liking the video, sharing the video? This is blessing me. I hope it's blessing you. The disciples' response to the blind man from birth was rabbi because Jesus, the teacher, was necessary in this moment. I want some of you to write, I want you to record this really quickly. Record this. There are some things in life that only experience can teach you. Record it. There are some things in your life that only experience can teach you. There are some things in your life that you're experiencing in your life, that you will go through in your life, that only experience can teach you. School's not going to teach you. Parents can try to teach you. Friends and loved ones can try to teach you. But there's some things you're not going to quite get until experience hits you. Okay? When experience hits you, and this is important, when experience hits you, then you understand that experience is one of those things where if we embrace what God is trying to teach us, it causes us to come out on the other side a whole lot better. See, the disciples had to be taught this blind man's experience because it wasn't their own. See, the blind man knew what he was going through, but the disciples didn't get it because they hadn't gone through it. And y'all, I hate to break the news to you, but some of the things you got to go through right now in your life, you simply got to go through it because the only way you were going to learn is if God took you through it. I want to say this again. Some of you had to go through the things you are dealing with right now, as painful as they are, as hurtful as they are, as much of it, of the fact that it was not your choice as it was not. Many of you had to go through what you went through because, frankly, God knew that the only way you would learn is through experience. Your parents could have warned you. Your friends could have warned you. Your spouse could have warned you. Your co-workers could have warned you. Your BFFs could have warned you. And none of that stuff was going to stick. It was going to go in one ear and out the other. So God said, in order to make sure you get the lesson, I got to create an experience. And listen, y'all, some of these lessons, some of these assignments, some of these experiences that we have to experience, can't nobody pray it off of you. Can't nobody fast it off of you. Can't nobody oil it off of you. There are some things, y'all, you just have to experience in order to get the lessons that God is trying to get you to learn in the season that you're in. Don't minimize that. Don't minimize it. But recognize that for every experience, there is a lesson. And so then when you know that, and you know that with every experience comes a lesson, then you grow spiritually to a place where when you have experience, you don't feel the need to talk. Watch this. And you don't feel the need to explain. When you have experience, you grow to a place where you don't feel the need to talk and you don't feel the need to explain. Why? Because you've been through it. See, I knew my experiences had finally grown me to the next level when I got to a place where I didn't feel the need to explain nothing to nobody. If you're one of those people that's going through something in your life and your first response when you go through is to try to explain what you're going through to other people, to your family, on social media, you have not learned from the experience. You have not learned from the experience. When you go through an experience for real and you really learn from an experience for real, you live with people drawing their own conclusions before you waste time explaining. And y'all, there is an incredible amount of freedom being in a place where you're okay with people drawing conclusions and you don't mind them drawing conclusions rather than you wasting your time explaining where you are and explaining what it is that you're doing and explaining where it is that you are in your life. See, a lot of people got mad with me over the last 2.5 years because they wanted an explanation. But here's the problem. You want the explanation, but you ain't want the experience. And explanations don't belong to everybody. When you go through difficult seasons in your life, you got to recognize that explanations don't belong to everybody. You've got to embrace the experience that you're dealing with, the season that you're going through, learn the lesson, come out of it. And then when you do, you come out. I think I saw the word boldness on IG. You come out with a boldness. You come out with a confidence. You come out with a different level of perspective because of what experience taught you. Because again, there are some things that experience couldn't teach you. Notice this, y'all. If you look at this story, there's something powerful in this story. The disciples had all the mouth. He's blind because his parents messed up. He's blind because he did something wrong. He's blind because maybe his grandparents messed up. The disciples had all of this mouth. Let me ask y'all a question. Read this story in St. John chapter 9, verse 1 through 7. Y'all read this story and ask yourself one question. How many words did the blind man say? Disciples doing all of this running their mouth about his condition, about his experience. How many words did the disciples say? The answer is 0. The disciples had nothing to say in return. And there's a valuable lesson in that, because while the disciples had all the mouth, the man walked in silence. And y'all listen, there's a whole lot of people that's going to have a whole lot to say. I'm telling you from experience. There's a whole lot of people that's going to have a whole lot to say about the assignment that God has you in right now. But where your power is not in responding to them, but it's in walking in silence. Stop explaining stuff to people that they don't even have the capacity to understand. I've said this before. People have called me arrogant for saying it. I'll say it till I turn blue in the face. There are some people I just can't even talk to, because intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, we just not on the same playing field. We not on the same playing field. We not in the same stadium. I'm not wasting my time explaining stuff to people whose learning level is below mine. Take it how you want to take it. This blind man, validated that very powerful truth about silence. And that is, when you know what you've been through, you know why you went through it, and you know what you learned through it, you don't owe nobody no explanation. Let me just break the news to all of you. When we open up our building, and we'll be in the building and still won't throw away virtual. We're going to be doing both. So we're going to be very busy. So for those of you that are going to be locally, and those of you that are even far away, because I'm expecting all my friends, Atlanta, New York, California, Texas, to y'all to just be booking regular plane tickets. I don't care. You heard what I said. Figure it out. I'm expecting y'all to be booking regular plane tickets to make at least a visit to the physical place at least once a month. Figure it out. Figure out. Maybe God will bless Rehab with a plane we can just charter and send and pick up everybody. But listen to me. Listen to me. Florida. I forgot about Florida. That's right, Dr. V. Listen to me. If you showing up in that building expecting me to explain a lot to y'all, stay where you're at. I don't have no explanations for none of you. My explanation is my life. Look at it. I'm thriving. I'm glowing. I'm doing great. All's well. I'm stable. I'm balanced. I'm winning. A month. I meant what I said. I don't have no explanation for nobody. And this blind man gives us the blueprint, because he didn't explain his situation. He didn't say 2 words. He let the disciples think what they wanted to think, and he just walked around in silence. Just walked in silence. That's all he did. And some of you better take that lesson. Get off social media and stop trying to explain stuff about your situation to folk on social media who could care less. Who could care less? Stop trying to explain stuff with posts to folks that's going to screenshot it and send it to your enemies. I like the carpool. We can carpool. Let's do it. All right? But stop trying to explain stuff. Y'all are wasting your time trying to explain your life to people who don't understand your assignment, who don't understand how the pain and the hurt and the season that you're going through was necessary for the assignment that you had. Yes, the job loss was necessary. Yes, the business failure was necessary. Yes, the divorce, the breakup, necessary. Stop explaining it to folks, though. People don't You don't owe nobody no explanation. Learn your lesson from that experience and apply it to your assignment. Let me keep going. I'm almost done. Y'all give me 7 minutes. Okay. So it's the disciples that say, Rabbi, teacher, why is this man blind? It's because his parents sin or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. I want you to record this. Record this. Here's your next note. For this next assignment, you have to fight hard against the spirit of negativity. Somebody needs this today. Record it. Like the video, share the video. I've got about 7, 8 more minutes. I'm done. For this next assignment, record this. You have to fight hard against the spirit of negativity. Come on, hurry, record it. For this next assignment, Nick, you have to fight hard. I saw your little comment. Against the spirit of negativity. All right. For this next assignment in your life, you have to fight hard. This is going to help somebody for real. You have to fight hard against the spirit of negativity. Why is that important? Well, the spirit of negativity will create a pessimistic attitude. It will cause you to be pessimistic. It will cause you to think that everything is a result of failure or difficulty or hard time, or it will cause you to blame people for things that they didn't have any fault in. It will cause you to blame yourself for things that you didn't do wrong. You've got to be careful to fight the spirit of negativity, because some people are just wired to think that everything that goes wrong is a result of fault. Somebody needs to hear this, y'all. Listen to me, for real. Good, I hear this. I underscore Carrot and say, you're talking to me. That's good. Some of you really need to hear this. Some people are just wired. You're wired. And maybe it's childhood trauma. Maybe it is an unhealed inner child. I believe in that. You all know I do work. I believe in therapy. All those things. I've done it. My therapist kicked me out. Y'all have heard the story. For a lot of different reasons, some people are just wired to automatically assume negative about every situation, right? The job ain't going to work, and I know it ain't going to work because of this. Or, I got a man or I got a woman, but it ain't going to work because of this. Like, you're just wired to automatically think negative and to automatically think, yeah, the church does feed into this in many ways, right? Because we say things like, you're going and go back to the introduction. I just explained this point. The church say that the pastor says things like, well, you're dealing with what you're dealing with because you did this. But this story is very evident. There's some things you're going through that ain't got nothing to do with you. That's really bigger than who you are. But you've got to stop this momentum behind assigning negativity to everything you experience. Y'all got to stop that. Because I'm going to tell you, not only does that spirit of negativity repel things from you, here's the other thing that it does. Oh, by the way, it doesn't matter what network you're on. Like the video. I forgot to announce that earlier. I'm sorry. That was random. Like the video. If you're on IG, like it. Facebook, YouTube, like it. You got to get out of this mentality of thinking that everything that happens to you is negative, because when you do that, you not only repel good experiences from you, watch this, you repel good people from you. You repel good experiences from you, and you repel good people from you. I'm in a season of my life, y'all. I've been through too much over the last 2.5 years. I've been through too much in my life. I came out of too much. I survived too much. I'm glowing through too much. I've recovered from too much. I've been through so much in my last 2.5 years that I'm just in a position right now. I don't care if you go to rehab. I don't care if I know you at work. I don't even care if you're a family member. I've gone through too much in my life right now where I don't want to be around nobody that's negative. I love y'all. I love all of you. Those of you that I've met, and those of you I've never met, I love you all. But let me tell you something. If you're negative and you can't get that under control, I need you to go somewhere and get that under control before you come around me. And I know many of you won't agree with that. Well, the Bible says, let the weak say I'm strong, and let the strong bear the infirmities of the weak. It says, bear the infirmities of the weak without a doubt. But listen, you can't help nobody that don't want to help themselves. and I'm just in that season of my life. I don't want to be around negative people. I don't want negativity in my life. I got enough stuff, right? Many of us can say, look, Doc Zip, I got enough stuff to deal with in my life right now. I don't need more negative people in my life. I don't need more negative situations in my life. And sometimes you want to help people so bad, but when you come to them, they spend 15 minutes whining over what they're dealing with. And again, I'm not minimizing the impact of grief, y'all. All of us have to grieve through things. I know what it's like to go through a grieving season and to have people that I could trust, that I could talk to about some very difficult seasons in my life. But these were also the same people that let me have my moment, but then say, Zeb, we can't stay in this negative space. We can't stay in this negative space. I like that testimony, Michelle, and it's going to work out for you. Not just because you're an amazing person, but because you are a giver. And sometimes God don't allow things to happen to us. He allows things to happen for us. I know that was random, y'all. I just had to speak a word into her life. Are y'all listening to me? You cannot be around negative people. You can't. You can't be around negative people, or that stuff bleeds into your life. That stuff bleeds into your atmosphere. That stuff bleeds into your environment. That stuff bleeds into who you are. So you can't afford to be negative. Here's the other thing. You can't afford to keep entertaining folks that are constantly negative. Ever try to help somebody and you give them all of the encouragement, but for every ounce of encouragement you give them, their response is, yeah, I hear that, but. Yeah, I hear that, but. Yeah, I hear that, but. You can't help nobody with a, yeah, I hear that, but kind of spirit. You can't do it. Some of y'all got to break this cycle of negativity, right? Because for this next assignment in your life, you're going to have to fight hard against that spirit. You can't take that spirit of negativity into this next season. God's healing you of some things you've had to go through. He's healing you of some things you've had to experience. For many of you, he has healed you. You got to remember the pain you experienced in that season and not take that negativity with you to the next season. You got to remember the pain you're going through right now so that when God brings you out, you make up in your mind that you're not going to take that to the next season. Y'all said stop talking to y'all. I'm sorry. It's the truth. You cannot take that to your next season. And part of that means you can't take negative people. Let people have a moment. But anybody on this call, anybody that knows me, that's ever counseled with me, has ever done coaching with me, will tell you, I'll let you have your moment. But let me tell you something. You ain't going to stay in it. I'm going to let you have your moment, because sometimes we all need a moment. Sometimes we all need a second. For some of you to cry, some of you need a second to cuss. Whatever your moment is, we all need a moment. I'm going to give you a moment, but we're not going to live in the moment. In that moment, meaning. We're not going to live in that moment. We're going to live in the moment. We're going to live in the present. We're going to learn the lesson that we've gone through. And I like this. I see some conversation here about, people saying, I don't reach out to people when I'm in a negative place, or when I'm in a negative place, I go off to myself. That comes with self-awareness. It does. You've got to have the self-awareness to understand when your mood ain't right, when your spirit ain't right. And if it means taking a step back or cutting your phone off, y'all know I'm an advocate of that. My members, they hate it. My family hates it. I'll cut my phone off in a minute. And many of you know this that got my number. You know, dog, Pastor, I tried to reach out to you for the last 3 weeks, and my message won't even on deliver because I had my phone off. I needed a moment to recharge, to refresh, to reset. Y'all be okay disconnecting. And don't live in your moment, live in the moment. Don't live in your moment, your moment of grief, your moment of pain. Live in the moment. What is God trying to teach me through what I'm dealing with? What is God trying to teach me through the pain? What is God trying to teach me through the hurt? And here's the bigger thing. How is that lesson then going to apply to the assignment that he has on my life? See, when you do that, y'all, I'm telling you, your glow up is different. Your strength hits different. Your energy aligns totally different. I ain't telling you something, and I'm laughing at Michelle because she's saying cut the phone off, but she'll tell you. She knows I'm telling the truth. I'll power my phone off in a minute. Ain't nothing wrong. I'm good. I'm resetting. I'm taking a moment. Maybe it's not that everything is wrong. It might be that everything is right. And I'm preparing myself. I've got some deliverables this week. I've got to finish the edits on my 4th book this week. I have to. This is going to be a very busy week for me, which means I'm going to be a little disconnected. I'll do my social media posts and try to encourage people. That's my assignment. I can't leave the assignment. But at the same token, if I got to focus, I'll disconnect so I can be focused. If I got to stay positive, I'll disconnect so I can be positive. That's right. You see them green bubbles? And I'm team iPhone. Pastor's good. He's good. But you got to do that, right? You can't stay there. I like that, Sonae. 2023 got to be different energy. It doesn't mean you ain't going to cry. You probably have cried. And you might cry again. Because it's a process. Remember what I told you to say at the beginning of the broadcast? A win is a win. It's a process. It ain't going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. But I'm here to tell you, you got to, Nick, get out of your head. You've got to get out of that negative spirit and realize that what you are experiencing is necessary, even if it's negative, but it doesn't have to make you negative. Even if what you go through is negative, it doesn't have to make you negative. I want you to record that now. Even if what you go through is negative, it doesn't have to make you negative. Come on, record it. Even if what you go through is negative, it doesn't have to make you negative. It doesn't. Even if what you went through was hard, this is good. It doesn't have to make you hard. Y'all, don't let your situations harden you up. This man was blind. He couldn't even see, but he had enough inner strength to the point where he didn't even have to speak and respond. He let his experience talk for itself. Y'all, don't let life make you hard. Life gets hard, but don't let it make you hard. Life gets tough, but don't let it make you tough in the sense of you're difficult to deal with and you're difficult to be around. No. If it's going to make you tough, let it make you strong tough. But even if what you went through was negative, doesn't mean it has to make you negative. Even if what you went through was hard, doesn't have to make you hard. Y'all, listen to me. Listen to me. Ooh, listen to me. Listen to me. This is good. Listen to me. Because I hear the Lord clearly here. Listen to me. Listen to me. I know what it's like for life to be so hard that you come out of that situation or those situations so hurt, so disappointed that you cut everybody off. You cut everything off because your heart can't even embrace the idea of being hurt again. Let me say this slow. Some of it, I know what it's like to go through a hard season in your life where things were so disappointing, so hurtful, so challenging that when you came out of it, you put a shield around you. You didn't want nobody to be near you. You put up all kinds of walls. You would not allow people to come within a certain distance of you because you couldn't fathom in your mind going through another season of allowing somebody else to disappoint you, allowing another situation to disappoint you, allowing another circumstance to let you down. And I'm here to tell you, if you do that, you have officially allowed a hard life to make you hard. And you can't do it. You can't do it. Don't let life make you hard. Don't let rough spots make you rough. You can't do it because you will miss the lesson in the assignment that God has for you because you did not take the experience that you went through the right way. Don't miss the assignment because you mishandled the experience. Can y'all record that? Good God from Zion. Can y'all record that right now? Record that. This is my last note for the day. I got to stop. Don't miss the assignment. Don't miss the assignment because you mishandled the experience. Don't miss the assignment because you mishandled the experience. Meaning, you let the experience make you hard. You let the experience make you bitter. You let the experience make you upset and angry. You let the experience make you difficult to talk with. You let the experience make you standoffish. Some of you used to be real social until you got your feelings hurt. And then once you got your feelings hurt, you stopped being social because you said, I'm not going to be vulnerable again. The last time I was vulnerable and social and open with people, they took my kindness for weakness. They ran over me. They took me for granted. So you allowed the experience to change you. But I'm here to tell you, the experience should not change you in a negative way. Don't miss the assignment and the purpose that God's trying to pull out of you because you mishandled the experience. He didn't take you through what he took you through for you to come out hard. He didn't take you through what he took you through for you to come out antisocial. Fellas, he didn't take you through the hurt and the disappointment that you went through for you to be mean and nasty and rude. Ladies, he didn't take you through what he took you through for you to come out hard. No, he still wants you to be a soft woman. He still wants you to be a kind woman. He still wants you to be a sweet woman, even if life was not sweet to you, even if the circumstance was not sweet to you, even if the situation wasn't sweet to you. He wants you to still be soft and gentle and sweet. Y'all don't like this kind of teaching. And see, people mess that up when they allow life experiences and they don't learn from the experiences that they've gone through. They come out on the other side as somebody they were never designed to be. You were never designed to be mean. You were never designed to be rude. You were never designed to be standoffish. You're a social person. You've always been a person that could get along with people. You've always been a person that's been open with people. Now you close down because you've allowed the experience to get the best of you. And when you do that, it is because you have missed your assignment. And the reason why this man was healed is because he did not miss the assignment associated with his trial. Now, I'm getting ready to go to this because I see you, Nick Watson. I'm about to say something on you. I hear you. We can do that as women, put up a hard exterior. You're absolutely correct. I don't want y'all to think I'm just beating up on women. Fellas, there's this thing. I was sharing this with a buddy of mine a couple of evenings ago. We were rapping and talking about, no, this was actually yesterday. Was in a really powerful exchange with a friend of mine from back home. And we were in this conversation about even relationships now in today's time and how media has really impacted how people engage with each other on a friendship basis, romantic basis, relationship basis. Like, it's all jacked up right now. It's another reason why I'm gonna restart my personal podcast, because I just need to get back in this ring and just deal with it. People love to hear about relationships because media has really jacked up how we see each other. But ladies, I want to be candid here. It ain't just y'all. Yeah, y'all go through things and you come out hard and you come out tough sometimes, and you can't do that, right? You can remain feminine even when you go through hard times. You can still be soft and kind and sweet. Everybody ain't gonna burn you. Everybody's not gonna harm you. But fellas, you ain't off the hook either. Because there's a thing going around right now called toxic masculinity. I'm trying not to get in trouble. This ain't even the text. I might save this for February since it's Valentine's Day month. Maybe I'll give y'all some relationship stuff in February. How about that? But there's this thing out here floating out here right now called toxic masculinity, where when guys get hurt, they go to the extreme too. Now all of a sudden, all women ain't nothing. Now all of a sudden, all women is this. And now all of a sudden, it's the red pill, blue pill community crap. And that's the far extreme. Because fellas, just because the last one did it don't mean all of them gonna do it. Fellas, if we can't allow them to say that all men are dogs, fellas, you can't say that all women are trash. Your masculinity has become toxic when you allow your experience to bleed into your assignment. Are y'all listening to me? And so many of you, I see you, Carradine, many of you have had to deal with that because you have dealt with hurt, not whole men who did not learn from the experience, and it messed up their assignment. So they threw away good women, not because it was something wrong with you, woman. They threw you away because they weren't whole from their last experience. I ain't got time to deal with this. Maybe I'll give y'all some of it. Y'all want some of this in February? Put the hand up emoji if you do. I know you do, because I know who attends rehab and who watches rehab. I know you do. I'll give you some of this in February. But the whole point of all of this, y'all, the larger lesson is don't let the experience harm you to the point where you miss your assignment. Okay? Because sometimes before life gets better, the challenges get harder. I want you to record that. This is your last note. I promise. I promise. Promise, promise, promise. Sometimes before life gets better, the challenges get harder. That's in anything, in your business, in your finances, in your relationships, with your children, with whatever. Sometimes before life gets better, the challenges get harder. No, y'all don't want me to continue this relationship thing today. I don't have time. We will be here another 2 hours. But I'm going to give y'all some of this because people are messing up their purpose and messing up what they could have. Some of y'all have thrown away great people that you should have been with for the rest of your life. Some of you got thrown away and you great people, and people should have been with you for the rest of their lives. And you took it personal because they did it, and you allowed the experience to change who you are, not realizing that they messed up their assignment because they didn't learn from their experiences. You can't take that personal. And you can't allow yourself to do it either. Stop punishing your future over what your past did. Stop punishing your present over what happened in your past. Okay? All right, y'all. I'm done. This bless you? Let me stop here. This bless you. I want to pray for you. I want to pray for you. I do. This is the most important part of the broadcast here. I want to pray for you because, I know this is hitting some folks, Watson. It is. And I ain't got time to deal with this, but I will because y'all act like y'all want this, and I'll deal with this. Because I feel like you, Sadiqua, I hope I'm saying that right. That is definitely my testimony. To have me in your presence is your greatest honor. You can call it arrogance. You can call it whatever. It is your great. Am I a handful? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm a handful. You know why? Because I come with a whole lot of great stuff. Straight up. And many of you are a handful. But I've discovered that people like that who come with a lot also are people who bring in a lot. Everybody want a $5 million house until they see the utility bill. Everybody wants a Bentley until it's time to get an oil change. Everybody wants to go to Turks and Caicos until they see the flight cost. So I don't know nothing worth having in your life that's worth having that don't come with a little bit of expense. Y'all, I'll deal with that in February. I'm going to give y'all 2 Sundays of that in February. How about that? All right. Can I pray for you? Listen, do me a favor right now. If you have something you want me to pray for, I want you to type it in the comments right quick because I'm way over. Yeah, that gas pump is something else. When you driving stuff that only take 93, trust me, it changed the game. Pastor, what city you from? Don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do that to me, Michelle. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. I want to pray for you. If you have a prayer request, I want you to type it in the comments right now. Many of you are watching this broadcast for the first time. You don't know this. Every morning I get up at 4:03, Monday through Friday. I get up at 4:03 in the morning. While y'all sleeping, snoring, slobbing on your pillow, I get up and the first thing that I do is I pray. I literally pray, not just for myself, but I pray for your prayer request. If you've got a prayer request, I want you to type it right now in the comments. I want you to type it right now in the comments because I want you to know that this week I'm going to be praying for you. You don't have to make the excuse. Nobody's praying for me. Nobody's rooting for me. You can throw that excuse in the trash. I'm going to be praying for you this week that God continues to bless you, that he strengthens you, but more than that, that he honors those requests that are on your heart. And I like that. I love Sadiqa here. I love her. She says, I want to be in the 5 a.m. club. I'm trying. Listen, you can do it. You can do it. It takes a lot of discipline, but you can do it. But I want y'all to get up, all right? And even if you don't get up, I want you to type in your prayer request. Good, TR. I see your prayer request coming here. I don't lose the people who are meant to be in your life. Let me help you right quick. You will never lose what's meant to be in your life. If God is meant for it to be in your life, and even greater than that, if you desire for it or them to be in your life, it ain't going nowhere. You ain't going to miss nothing that God has designed for you and that you desire for your life. Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm just speaking into folks' lives today. Come on, type in your prayer request. I'm praying for you. Come on, good. I see the prayer requests are flying in. Hurry, hurry, hurry. give you 30 seconds right now to type in your prayer request, because I want to pray for you all week long. Good. I like that. Sister Reed on Facebook says, Lisa Reed said, I'm already up, so I will be there. Good. Good. It's great. We may try one week. I won't give y'all 4:30 because I don't know if y'all can handle 4:03 in the morning. Maybe y'all can handle 5 in the morning. We might do a corporate thing where we get up at 5 every morning and get everybody to pray. And I just come online and pray with you. You don't have to even turn your cameras on or anything. I'm more than willing to do it because I'm up anyway. But corporate prayer is a very powerful thing. And I want to pray for you. I want to pray for everything concerning you. Good. You got 10 seconds. Type in your prayer request. We're getting ready to pray together right now. I want to lift you up in prayer that God continues to bless you and strengthen you where you are. Right. After you've typed in your prayer request, somebody told me some 5:45 crazy Michelle. I'm going to get you. I want you to connect your hands like this as a sign and symbol of faith. All right. Connect your hands like this as a sign and symbol of faith. We're getting ready to touch and agree right now. All right. If you've got a prayer request that you can't type in the comments, you can email your prayer request to info@rehabcc.org. That's info@rehabcc.org. You can email your prayer request there, and just put in the subject line prayer request. It'll get routed to my personal email address, and we always acknowledge those and respond to that. All right, good. I see the prayer requests are coming. They're so good. Thank y'all so much for typing them in. Good. In touch with you. I like that. To be a better person, better finances. Remember the 3 things I want you to focus on this week: stability in your spirituality, stability in your emotions, and stability in your finances. If you make those 3 things stable in your life this year, you're going to see some incredible alignment like you've never seen. Connect your hands like this as a sign and symbol of faith. Let's pray. Father, in Jesus' name, I thank you today for this awesome word. Thank you for this time of gathering and sharing you've given us. I praise you, God, for everything that was spoken, and it is my sincere prayer that something was said that has encouraged somebody, has inspired somebody, and maybe even challenged somebody to take a step back and rethink the way they see their experiences, rethink the way they see their assignment, rethink the way they see the things that are happening in their lives. It's my prayer that something was said that has encouraged somebody and given somebody hope today. Now, God, I ask you this prayer selfishly, that you would answer the prayers of your people as only you can, that you would make ways, that you would open doors, that you would meet needs, that you would grant heart's desires in a special way. Somebody right now is going through an incredibly stressful season of their lives, stressful in their business, stressed out in their finances, stressed out because of family. They're stressed out because of health. I pray this prayer, God, that this week might be the most positive, the most fun, the most energy-filled week that they've ever experienced in their lives, not because they're perfect, but because we serve you. You're a perfect God. I pray now, God, that you would answer the prayers of your people as only you can, that you would make ways as only you can, that you would open doors as only you can, that you would heal hearts as only you can, that you would fix attitudes and spirits as only you can, that you would touch bodies as only you can. And we promise, God, we will not take the credit, but we will give your name all of the glory. We count these things done in Jesus' name. Amen. Listen, if you prayed that prayer of faith, do me a favor. I want you to type in the comments really quickly. It is so. Hurry. It is so, with a whole bunch of exclamation marks. Exclamation marks. It is so. Why it is so? Because every time you say amen, you're saying it is so. The word amen in the Greek means it is so, it is done. I want you to type it in the comments quickly. If you prayed with me just now, it is so. It is so. Good. It is so. It is so. It is so. That means it's done. That means God's done it. Now you got to walk in the faith and the confidence this week to believe that he's making a way for you. Listen, before you go, if anybody wants to be saved, while you're typing it is so, if anybody wants to dedicate their life to Christ, this broadcast would not be what it is without somebody making a dedication, a commitment to Christ. If you want to be saved, if you want to dedicate your life to Christ, I want you to stop what you're doing right now. I don't care where you are. If you're eating, I want you to put down the bacon. If you're driving, I want you to pull over to the side of the road. I don't care what you're doing. I want you to stop what you're doing because God wants to save you right now. If you want to be saved, I want you to stop what you're doing and repeat this prayer of faith with me. The Bible tells us in Romans 10:9 that if we confess with our mouths, and I'm paraphrasing, if we would confess with our mouths and believe with our hearts that Jesus Christ is who he is and did what he did for us, we are saved. Salvation is a matter of confession. It's not about perfection. It's not about being a perfect person, but it's about believing you serve a God that's greater than everything you've ever done and anything you've ever gone through. If you want to be saved, say this with me right now. Say this: I'm a sinner. I'm not perfect. I've made some mistakes. I have some flaws, and I have some failures. But I do believe that Jesus was born of a virgin. He lived on this earth just like I'm living. He suffered, bled, and died on the cross. But 3 days later, rose again for my sins. Because he lives, I can live, and I am saved. My friends, if you prayed that prayer of faith, I want to welcome you to the royal family of Jesus Christ. You made an incredible decision, and I'm so very proud of you today for giving your life to Christ, for dedicating your life to Christ. And I want you to continue to grow in the faith. Find your Bible teaching, Bible believing ministry, church, online, virtual, hybrid, doesn't matter. And find you a ministry and continue to grow in that ministry and in your faith so that God can continue to bless your life as only he can. Finally, I want to challenge you. If this message, if this ministry, if this broadcast has been a blessing to you, I want to challenge you to give today. Yes, we are a tithing ministry. We're a giving ministry. We believe in that. And I want to challenge you to give today. If this message, if this ministry has been a blessing to you, I want to challenge you to give. You can sow into this ministry via CashApp, $REHABCCGIVE. That's $REHABCCGIVE. You can give through our website by visiting www.rehabcc.org and simply choose online giving. That's www.rehabcc.org and choose online giving. Or you can text REHABWORKS. Text the word REHABWORKS to 336-642-3210. That's REHABWORKS to 336-642-3210. And you can give right from your cell phone, text to give that way. And we promise you that if you give either one of those ways, God is going to bless you for blessing us. Good measure, pressed down, shaking together, running over. Listen, I hope this broadcast blessed you. Do me a favor, y'all. If it did, like the video, share it on your stories, share it to your family and friends, have them go back and watch this broadcast, and then make plans to tune in this Tuesday for Life Study, 7:08 p.m. We call Bible study Life Study here at the Rehab Christian Center because we teach, as you can see, on topics that impact your life from a spiritual perspective. And so invite somebody to tune in this Tuesday, 7:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be exclusively on Facebook and YouTube this Tuesday, exclusively on Facebook and YouTube. You can follow us on Facebook at the Rehab Christian Center, on YouTube at TheREHABCC. But join us for Life Study this Tuesday at 7:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we know you're going to be glad that you did. Listen, I love y'all. I'm praying for you. I'm rooting for you. I want you to have a fantastic week and apply this word to your life this week and watch God create some incredible change in your life. I love you. I'm praying for you. I'm rooting for you. Have a fantastic week. Peace and blessings.